Hi, this is Jill with Life Off the Yoga Mat, and you can find this video and many more on my website, lifeofftheyogamat.com. And today I'm going to be talking about plantar fasciitis. And a student of mine had emailed me that she's having some issues with that and was looking for some yoga exercises to help with that. So that's what we're going to focus on today. It's something that's very common. It's a tear in the arch of your foot. So you have this soft tissue or fascia, and in this place, so it can be just an overstretching or a mild tear in that area, and it can be really painful. So the props I have for today are, I have 2 tennis balls. You really only need one, and a strap, a yoga strap, and a block. So these are good things to have, at least one tennis ball and a yoga strap and a block. So when I start with the one thing that can help is just with the tennis ball, just putting it right under your foot and rolling it around. So that's one thing that you can do, as simple as that, and just rolling it around the arch of your foot and seeing if that gives you some relief and some stretching of this area. So it tends to be plantar fasciitis, so you can do that. And switch feet is something that if you stand a lot and you're standing on hard surfaces, maybe your shoes are a little worn out, like they're not supporting the arches of your feet, they're not cushioned. So a lot of shoes that we wear, unfortunately, do have a lot of those tendencies. They might not be really supportive, and we're walking on hard surfaces or we're on our feet for long periods of time. And this student happens to be a hairdresser, so I know she's on her feet a lot and on hard surfaces, so that's not going to help. So that's one thing to do right there with the tennis ball. The other thing to notice is we talk a lot in yoga about how to stand and the alignment, right? And we're in Tadasana or mountain pose, and sometimes you're even wondering, am I standing right? And so one thing that you want to look at is the tendency, and you usually can notice it pretty quickly just when you just come to stand without thinking about it, where the weight is in your feet. So is the weight towards the middle of the feet, or is the weight on the outer edges of the feet? So it's even hard for you to maybe see as I kind of go this way or this way, but you should be able to notice it and feel it in your feet. So for me, I happen to have a tendency, like naturally, I feel more the inner edges of my feet are what's rooted down, and the outer edges feel a little bit more lifted up. So you're always going to, so it's pronation and supination. It doesn't, whatever your tendency is, you want to find neutrality. So you want to find a neutral standing position. So you want to feel, that's what we talk about, the 4 corners of the feet, right? So it's like feeling the balance between the, under the big toe mound and the pinky side of the foot. So it's almost like you're kind of finding your own balance, just standing still on 2 feet. And the same with the backs of the feet, with the heels, finding that balance so that you feel like both sides of the heels, you're not on the insides of the heels or too much on the outsides of the heels. So you can always take that, hopefully as I've been speaking, you maybe notice that, maybe close your eyes and just notice what your tendency is. So you want your knees, right, tracking over the 2nd and 3rd toe, and you want everything lined up in neutral. So you want to feel that neutrality, and so finding that press between the inner and outer parts of really the 4 corners of the feet. And then as you do this, you can start to bend the knees. And once you just kind of naturally just bend the knees, like we think about chair pose, right, sinking the seat, but even just leaving the arms out of it, just bending the knees, do your knees go in or do they go out? And again, I'm being exaggerating when I go like this and like this, but sometimes you have that tendency if you have the pronation or the supination, you have that tendency for the knees to kind of go in more or kind of bow out a little bit more. So you want to keep the knees next time you go into chair pose, just take a moment here, just kind of bend the knees. You want to keep them over the 2nd and 3rd toe. So you're going to press to stand, and you're just noticing, again, your tendencies, noticing how your feet are. So you can kind of bend and stand, and next time you're in a full regular yoga flow class, right, notice what you do when you come to chair pose. Notice the balance of your feet and try to maintain that neutrality. One thing that you need to work on is stretching the calves and the hamstrings. That will help the bottom of the foot as well. So, and if you notice, right, when you flex your foot, you should feel it all along the back of the leg. So it has to do with the feet and everything being connected. So if you turn to face a wall. You can place your hands on the wall, and I'll bring my right foot forward. It's just a calf stretch, and your left foot back. So just stretching the calf and just getting a stretch through the back of the left leg here. And then you would just switch sides. So my right foot goes back and my left foot goes forward. So what's nice is these exercises are very easy to do, right? Anywhere, anytime, nothing too strenuous. Okay, and then straighten that out. And then from here, we're going to use your, staying with the wall, using a block. So I have a block right up to the wall, and I'm going to put my left foot on the wall with my toes facing the wall, and I'm going to be facing the wall. And if this is enough of a stretch, just standing here, then you're good standing here. If you want to lean forward and place your hands on the wall, that will deepen the stretch. So I just have my toes up on this block, and I'm going to lean forward. So I want up here, I don't feel as much without leaning forward. So I'm going to lean forward and just get a stretch through the back of the leg. Okay. And then I'm going to switch it up and put my right foot, right toes are onto the block, right toes facing the wall. I'm going to lean forward. Okay, so that's a couple of things that you can do. And then I will show you one more thing, just laying on your back. And again, the wall you are going to use, because I'm going to put one foot flush to the wall and the other leg up to the ceiling. So I'm going to grab my strap, and as I lay down, I'm going to put my left foot to the wall and my right leg up. And I'm going to loop this strap around the arch of my foot and get a hamstring stretch. And of course, the strap is on the arch of the foot, which is the area which is really affected here. So trying to keep my foot, I don't want to have it turned in, right, or turned out. I want to find it really flexing up and neutral. And then we'll switch sides. So I have, again, the foot is pressed to this baseboard. So now my right foot is pressed to the baseboard, and I'm looping the strap around my left foot. So I'm still pressing, so I have all four corners rooted onto the wall, and I'm trying to get all four corners as if I am stepping on the ceiling. So this is, and it's interesting. So my student who had emailed me this, you envision that student and not only the specific problem they have, but you envision their personality. And I know how she is in the yoga room, and she's extremely energetic, and I know it's driving her crazy to have any sort of issue with movement. And she does a vigorous vinyasa flow. So this may feel a little boring to people who like that kind of power movement, strengthening type of yoga, but sometimes you got to really listen to your body and maybe learn something, and hopefully you'll take it back. Okay, we can release this out. Hopefully take it back onto your mat so that when you are doing your more vigorous vinyasa flow, you don't lose sight of those fine points of your alignment, right? Of how you're standing and how you can feel it in your feet and up through your body. Pressing into the inner outer edges of the feet, pressing into the heel, and trying to just notice your tendencies and trying to even out your press of the feet. I am going to go ahead and bring my knees into my chest, and I'm going to roll to one side so that I can come sit up into a seated position. And one final thing you can do as we close out is if you tuck your toes here, right, take toe stand, that's a nice stretch for the feet. And let's end this way. So you're in this toe stretch. If it's too much, we don't do it, right? Or we take a block in between, or we bring our hands down to tabletop and we stay here. Okay, that's less intense. But if you can sit on the heels, let's bring the hands to heart center. Thank you for joining me. Namaste.